Hello, this is Graham Nicholls from Affinity, Gospel Churches in Partnership, based here in the UK. It's around about the 5th of June. Dominating the news agenda through quite a lot of this week has been the conviction of the murderers of Henry Nowak, a young man who was stabbed in Southampton area, and in particular the release of the body cam footage from the police and the evidence from that that he wasn't cared for. Henry Nowak, who was murdered, he wasn't cared for by the police, but was in fact handcuffed and was going to be treated as a criminal until much later it was realised that he had been stabbed, as he'd been claiming from the beginning. A very emotive story, and there's been lots of comment on it. Christians, as well as the general public, would probably have differing views about whether this represents a systematic problem with the claim by the murderer and his brother that they were the victims, in fact, of a racist attack, and whether it was to do with the kind of training that the police receive. So there will be those that say that's to blame, it's a systematic problem, and there would be those that say that it's not, it was just a tragic mistake and they were doing their best, or even they didn't do very well and they didn't do their best, but it's not a systematic problem, it's not a big political issue. And lots of shades obviously in between that. I don't want to express a view on either my behalf or behalf of Affinity, but just to say that as Christians, what needs to be distinctive is not particularly the position we take on this issue, but the way we express ourselves. That, of course, we avoid any language that is defaming or abusing or offending consciously other people, but also we do want to use language that is true and right, and at times challenging, whether it's challenging the state or whether it's actually challenging other Christians. But that needs to be done in a way that is loving and with good purpose. Not just to grandstand, not just to get a platform for ourselves, not in a performative way, not just to say, well, we've said that, and those who agree with us already agree with us, and those who disagree with us, it just hardens them. So to think purposefully about how we as Christians speak into this, and indeed to other debates about what is happening in our national culture, where there are without doubt challenges at this time. And it's connected in a way with what we think of ourselves as a Christian nation. And there was a news item this week to do with Kemi Badenoch, who was speaking with Piers Morgan and saying she wants to defend Christians' cultural heritage, although she's not a Christian herself. She likes the Christian cultural values. And there would be many people like that, and probably more so at the moment, where there's this kind of loss of who we are as a culture, which is making people scurry towards, well, let's grab hold of Christian values as our culture. I do agree with Kemi Badenoch on the particular point that says that we can be a multiracial society, but we can't be a multicultural society. That there can be lots of cultural expressions within a society, but I agree with her general point that we have to unite under a single set of cultural values in order to be able to thrive and survive, in fact, as a culture. And I think there's a lot for us to think about in that, and to speak into that responsibly as Christians, because we are citizens, we are voters, we have an influence on the way the government leans. So we need to think carefully about that in the days ahead. It's another story this week that GPs are so overwhelmed that they're not really caring for the over 65s in the way that they're meant to. Apparently they're supposed to have a plan to look at the medication and the situation of people over that age, and to particularly look at whether there's a danger of them experiencing falls, as many older people do. And they're overwhelmed. They're looking at maybe whether there's other professionals who can help with that. It's a great opportunity for the church. The church should be, and very often is, a deeply caring community who looks after those who are older in their community. And we can be part of kind of bridging the gap of what the GPs are unable to do with helping those older people in our church, taking care of them, giving them lifts, calling in on them, making sure that they're safe, advising them, perhaps sometimes encouraging them to take measures that will make them more safe around their homes. One other story, just in the last few seconds, is that apparently we spend over £600 on second-hand goods per year, all of us, on average. And the top things are books, number one, T-shirts, and then jackets, and then down the list a bit of shoes. I'm okay with trainers. I'm not so happy with buying shoes secondhand. It's just a thing. There's probably no great logic to that. But it is good to think about whether it does, in fact, help anybody, and in particular, make good use, good stewards of the possessions that are in the world, and not kind of overusing the resource. To think about whether buying secondhand is a good thing to do. So it kind of illustrates that everything's Christian in a way, isn't it? We're always taking our Christian mind to approach everything, even buying pre-loved goods. Thanks for listening.